Guys, Joe McDonough here with MMAEmpire.com, joined by Aaron Jeffrey, who will be competing for the CFFC middleweight title at CFFC93. Aaron, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, and I appreciate the time, man. Just a week out now. I mean, the hard part's getting closer to being done. Obviously still weight cut and all of that stuff, but it's it's coming close to fight night and or the fun night.
For sure. I'm pumped, man. It's been a long training camp. I'm ready.
And, take me through 2020 for you. I mean, you went 2-0, an odd year to be, a prospect, to be a fighter, to be a person. I mean, just take me through not only, a fighter, but your own, person in 2020.
Yeah, definitely a roller coaster, man. I mean, the end of 2019, I had a fight canceled in November, like November 30th, I think was the date. So right at the end of the year. And then early 2020 in January, I had a fight canceled. I was off for, I don't know how long it was at that point, maybe like 8 months or something, maybe not that long, 6 months, whatever it was. I registered for a jiu-jitsu tournament just to get some competition in. And then that got canceled because of COVID. And I was like, fuck, man, I think the universe is sending me signals. I think I'm done with this sport. I took a full month off out of the gym. I couldn't handle life without it. I went back, and then I was lucky enough to get a couple fights in, like you said. So yeah, man, I'm one of the lucky ones because I know a lot of guys that I train with haven't been able to get any competition, so it's tough. Absolutely,
man. And, like you said, regional shows have been essentially shut down, very few and just starting now to get up and running. You had said you took away, you stayed away from the gym for a month. I mean, you said you had to come back. What was the driving force in coming back?
I don't know, man. I think I was just going stir crazy at home. Like I did pretty much nothing. Like I went back to my mom's house. She lives on a big farm, and I was literally just like eating and sleeping and going for walks and runs and just kind of like going out of my mind, man. I had to get back there.
And, take me to this title fight, Colin Huckbody, also a Dana White Contender Series vet. What excites you? Because I know as a fan, I can speak for the fans. We're pumped to see this fight. What excites you as an opponent?
Well, it's sick. It's CFFC, so it's one of the biggest organizations outside the UFC, right? They got tons of eyes on them. It's on Fight Pass, which is also huge. It's main event. It's a title fight. It's going to be sick to bring home another gold belt. A good opponent. Like he got the UFC contract on Contender Series, right? So there's definitely eyes on him. So it's just a big fight all around.
And, how close are you to that UFC contract yourself? I mean, a win here, like you just said, CFFC, huge promotion, on Fight Pass, fighting a guy that got the UFC contract for a title fight. I mean, everything lines up here.
Yeah, I hope so. It's hard to say, man. I wish you could answer that question for me. Like people have been saying it for at least a year now. Like this guy's on the doorstep, one more fight, one more win, whatever it is, and it hasn't happened yet. So I don't know.
And, the same can be said for one of your teammates, Anthony Romero, your team over there and one of your other teammates, Jasmine, will be fighting on the same card as you. I mean, I always find it interesting. Is that something that fighters love to have other teammates on the same card? Or is it something that, do you like having your own fight card?
I think there's pros and cons for sure. Like it's sick to travel with the team, another buddy to have with you there to shoot the shit and whatever. I think it gets a little bit difficult for the coaches sometimes if like with their back-to-back or whatever, like we have two of the same coaches. So say two coaches go out with her, then I'm left in the back in the change room by myself, having to warm up. So that kind of stuff sucks. If you both win together, that's fucking awesome. Obviously you can party after and have a good time, whatever. If one of you guys loses and the other one wins, it's always like a little bit of a different situation after. So yeah, there's
pros little awkward.
Exactly, for sure.
And have you been in that situation before where you've had your coaches go out with another with a teammate and kind of been left alone in the locker room?
Yeah, my last fight actually at LFA, one of my teammates and my good buddies, T-Shay Guthrow, fought on that card as well. He was one of the earlier fights, so we had some time in between, so it wasn't a big deal. But he lost his fight actually, and he's like a super good sport. He took it very well. But still to be like pumped up in the change room before, and then he comes back in and took the L. It does definitely dampen the mood a little bit, even though he was awesome about it.
And what goes on with you in the sense of throwing hands, sparring? I mean, is there anything as you're left alone, are you just kind of sitting there listening to music? What's going through your head?
Sorry, you just froze up there for a minute. What'd you say?
Just, what's going through your head in that moment where you're kind of left alone, your coaches are gone, you can't really throw hands, hit the mitts, anything like that. What's going through your head?
I don't know, just kind of the same shit as if they were back there, really. I mean, you're a little bit in a sense, no matter what. I mean, you're the only one who's walking there, so you're always kind of a bit in your own head. But yeah, I just threw his fight up on Fight Pass because it was on LFA, so I just sat and watched the fight while I was in the back, so that's fine.
That's pretty cool. I like that. Watching the teammates fight right in the back before your own fight. In the sense of, like we said, and you said, it's hard to answer. And, myself and many of my colleagues have said that you've been UFC ready for a long time. Mm-hmm. If the opportunity doesn't come after this fight, and I know you're not overlooking Colin in any way, would you go back to Contender Series?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, if they gave me an offer for that, for sure. Like the money's still better there than it is on regional shows. There's definitely more eyes on that. I said this before. The only thing that I would be hesitant about is that, like, God forbid, if I took another loss on Contender Series, to go 0-2 on there is probably a pretty bad look in the UFC's eyes.
And is it UFC or bust for you? I mean, if Bellator came calling, if, one championship came calling, would you sign with those guys? Or for you, is it just UFC or bust?
No, I would definitely hear what the offer is for sure. I mean, they're obviously both very big shows too. I'm assuming they're going to pay better than the regional shows. Again, it's like more eyes, more fame. So yeah, I don't see why not.
And what is your maybe not oddest thing, but for you before a fight, what's your kind of like in hockey, a goalie has his little tendencies he does before a fight, before a game. What's you for a fighter?
That's a good question. I don't think there's anything too out of the box. I'm a fucking boring person, man. I don't do all on fight day, it's probably, crushing a whole bunch of food until a few hours out. I take a nap, drink some coffee, maybe a piece of nicotine gum. Maybe that you could say that's a little bit odd for some guys, but pretty standard.
Nice nicotine buzz before the walkout. And if in winning this title, would you, and I know we've talked a couple of times about UFC, Contender Series, all that stuff. Would the next thing be going and just defending it? If an offer didn't come, would you have a certain time period where you'd say, okay, an offer hasn't come, I need to fight again?
Yeah, and I'm under contract with CFFC now. Like, if you win the belt, you need to defend it. I couldn't go fight for LFA or something again. So yeah, that would probably be the next step.
And I'm assuming that under that contract, if the UFC came calling, they'd let you go.
Yeah, I think UFC Bellator 1 maybe is in the contract.
Okay,
exactly.
Yeah. And take me through this fight. Where do you see yourself kind of holding the advantages?
Honestly, man, I think everywhere. I mean, I know he's a solid grappler. He's got a lot of wins by submission. He's got like a wrestling background. Looks very strong there in his fights. But I'm comfortable too there, man. I keep saying in my interviews, like I train at a primarily wrestling gym. My head coach is like an Olympic caliber wrestler. I train with Marty Calder, who's an Olympic wrestler. We wrestle like twice a day often. So I'm comfortable there. And obviously I have a lot of wins by knockout and I'm pretty okay on the feet too. So yeah, I think everywhere, man.
I think you're a bit better than just okay on the feet. But, last thing for me, just take me through a prediction. Some fighters don't like to give them. That's fine. But if you do, what's prediction for next week?
Yeah, I don't want to say anything too bold either, but I obviously think I'm going to get the win. I could see a finish in one of the later rounds.
All right, Dan. Thank you very much, man. We all look forward to watching that next week.
Thank you, sir.